on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. That is a brand new one from our next guest, and then that one's called She's a Rainbow. That's from English Rain, and they have released the new track She's a Rainbow. It was released in July, as in the midst of this, a collaborative of songwriters have contributed to the English Rain, which have amassed over 140 songs, but their forthcoming album is coming out soon. It's called Echoes of You. Will be released in the later part of this year, and I am joined by Steve from the English Rain on Friday Neon this morning to talk about the collective of songs and focusing on the albums. Steve, welcome to Friday Neon. How are you this morning?
Very well, Quentin. Thanks for having me on.
Now, this a collaborative effort you've put together. Can you explain, especially where She's a Rainbow came from? As I understand, you sort of put the word out to singers, songwriters that you admire, and put in a collaborative amount of work from them for you to record.
Yeah, so we had so the English Rain in theory is just myself and Neil, and most of the songs, well, about 140 odd songs, we already had written over a period of time. But we thought that we wanted to start recording, but neither of us have great vocals, so we wanted to kind of put it out there to people to see if they'd be interested in recording some songs with us. And the first person I went to was a guy I used to work with called Alistair Bell, who was the lead singer of Speedstar and his good friend, and he's a fantastic vocalist. And he agreed to do a song, which eventually turned into nearly 8 for the record. And then another lady who I was doing some songwriting with, a country artist, she agreed to do a song. And again, that sort of kind of blossomed into a few more. And Hayden Andrews from Cheap Fakes reached out, and he does a couple of songs on the record. So we brought all these vocalists in, which was great, because it's always good to hear people sing who haven't done the lyrics themselves. It kind of adds a little bit to the song. And She's a Rainbow, is a song that's probably about 10 years old now. A friend of mine asked me if I'd write with her, and she had the title She's a Rainbow, which didn't thrill me much because I never liked the Stones song of the same name. But she had this line called, which said, I'm a walking, talking disco ball. And I love that. And it really kind of gave me a basis to write the song about, kind of that girl who brightens, wherever she goes, without being extroverted or anything like that. They're just like a kind of a beacon of light that makes your day a lot better. So, yeah, that's kind of the idea behind She's a Rainbow.
It's pretty much you doing the music and the production, is that right? And they just go and sing, or will they be also taking part in playing instruments as well?
Yeah, on this record, Neil and I played just about everything, along with our producer Jason Millhouse, who has been massive in this process. He's taken the songs to a whole new level for us. But last night we were actually doing some recording with Alistair and Cassie, and we were talking then about them having more input, in terms of, playing instruments on the next record, because Alistair plays piano and cello, Cassie plays guitar. It kind of gives them a little bit more skin in the game, and they're already said that, they'll do songs on the next record. So the good thing about it is that Neil and I can record from a home perspective, and kind of get about 80% of the songs down before we go into the studio. So it's a lot cheaper for us, from one perspective, because we're not trying to get a drum sound for, a day and a half. So the songs go in relatively complete, and then the guys add their vocals over the top. But we've certainly changed a few things just on this record to, kind of accommodate the vocalists and just different ideas that Jason's had.
On the line, I'm joined by Steve from the English Rain. We're going to play Before the Dark. We've got a couple of tracks to play through this chat. Tell us about Before the Dark.
This is a really personal song for me, and it's quite, I'd say, a different style to a lot of the record. I was listening to a lot of Massive Attack at the time, and I think a lot of people know us from kind of the more jangly pop stuff we did. I had a cousin in England who unfortunately lost his battle with mental illness, and took his own life, and it had a really big effect on me. And unfortunately, when he took his life, no one sort of knew for a few days, and I found that just so incredibly sad that someone could pass and we don't know about it. And that's kind of where the song came from. Just people's battle with mental illness, and the hope that someone's going to find you. So yeah, that's kind of the story behind that song.
We're going to play Before the Dark right now from the English Rain on Friday Neon 477 102.1 FM. We'll be back very soon.
This is something that will stay with you for the rest of your lives. When the darkness takes you, those feelings rise up again. When that last light flickers out, when there's nothing more to hold on to. Just remember, someone's gotta find you. Just remember, someone's gotta find you. When the darkness takes you, mornings like no longer wants you. When the ones around you can no longer keep the dark away. Just remember, someone's gotta find you. Just remember. When the darkness wakes you, drags you down and suffocates you, as the time draws closer and the last of hope has slipped away. Just remember, someone's gotta find you. Just remember, someone's gotta find you.
On Friday Neon 477 102.1 FM. Before the Dark from the English Rain. And on the line, I'm joined by Steve or Stephen. Stephen, get to your room. I'm sure it's Steve.
No, I prefer Steve. Otherwise, I think I'm in trouble.
Yeah, everyone does that. Happens when they have their full name being spoken out. But you mentioned off air this whole album that's coming out, which I've got the name here. I have to find it again. You're going to have to help me here. Echoes
Okay.
of You. Thank you. It's a mixed bag of country, rock, jangly, trip hop as well. And we were talking off air how it's a shame that people are not listening to a full-length album. How can you convince, especially younger people? I know with us, our age, we love the full album. How do you sort of sweeten it up to the people who generation brought up on MP3s to listen to the whole album to go through that journey?
Yeah, it's a real. I think it's a real challenge for us. We don't. I don't think we have a style as such. You know, I think a lot of people think of us as jangle pop or indie pop, whatever. But as you said, you know, there's songs on the record that are all different sorts. You know, like if you listen to something like Before the Dark compared to the current single She's a Rainbow, they could be two different bands. But the good thing is that they're still the English Rain. So what we hope is that, you know, that there's at least one or two songs on there that may resonate with you. If you don't like jangle pop, you know, there's rock on there, there's a country song, there's, you know, trip hop, there's blues, there's swamp boogie. So, you know, we're in a time where people just are looking for, you know, a song. You know, I think that there's something for everybody on the record, and I don't think you can please, you know, everybody these days. You know, if we'd have put 12 jangle pop songs on the record, that would be great for people who love jangle pop. But we try and write, well, I try and write in a way that the songs tell me how they want to sound. You know, I don't sit down and go, okay, you know, I want to write a song that sounds like the Beatles. The way it comes out is the way it comes out. And I think you let the song guide you as to how it wants to go. So because we don't really tour as such, it allows us to not have to get up in front of people and play, you know, a full set of songs that has to resonate with them all the way through. You know, like if you're in a band, you know, say like Powderfinger, you know, Powderfinger, there's very much a sound. And, you know, you go to a Powderfinger concert to hear Powderfinger songs. With us, we don't have to meet those kind of same obligations because we're just really not a live outfit.
So when you're collaborating and you've got all the information come to you, obviously you would have a deadline. How much space do you have in order to make it perfect without having the pressures of, you know, having, say, a label looking over if that's still going now? But, you know, are there pressures?
Yeah.
Or do you find there's a lot of headroom you can still work around and get it out in time?
Yeah, for us, I guess it's reasonably loose. You know, the fact that we're working on such a large catalogue of songs, you know, getting a number of songs together for the record, it's not really an issue. You know, in theory, we've actually planned out the next 3 records, and Neil and I are already tracking, you know, songs for the next album already. So, yeah, in terms of that, having to, you know, produce or get songs together, that there's no pressure. I think the real pressure comes when we go into the studio and you just want it to sound as good as it possibly can. You know, we can get it to a certain level with home recording, but then, you know, somebody like Jason, our producer, comes in and it's just, you know, he next levels it because we've heard these songs for so long through the years. It's nice to have these fresh ears that come in. And that, you know, I think that has really helped. Even when I say there's pressure in the studio, it's probably been one of the most fun experiences of my life. You know, there's great banter in there, and we really do have a team of people. You know, like I said, there's people like Jason, you know, who's this musical producer who's absolutely fantastic. We have another lady called Carolyn who's really our creative, you know, guru. You know, things like our videos, our logo, all of that is really her. You know, like if I was doing the videos, you'd have, a stick man probably walking across the screen. But, you know, she kind of really gets it. She loves what we do and, you know, she puts into that. And then there's, you know, another lady, Tammy, she's on the single cover, the album cover. She's in the video. All of these people contribute to make it this whole thing. And that's not even including, you know, like the vocalists who have all brought so much to the table. So, you know, on paper you go, oh, well, the English Rain is Steve and Neil, but it's so much bigger than that, you know, in terms of, you know, not only musical input, but creative and visual. And we try and stay fairly active. You know, I think in today's day and age, you need to sort of have things sort of trickling out all the time. You know, we've got a video up on Facebook where we were recording double hand claps for, I think She's a Rainbow, and we just couldn't get it right, as stupid as that sounds. And, you know, like there's 500 people who have watched that video of, you know, these people standing in a studio trying to get hand claps.
Oh, we love
So I
to
think
screw up
people-
in music. It's fun to watch that. You don't take it
Well,
seriously.
it's something funny because you go, it couldn't be any easier, surely, but, you know, watch the video and you can see, you know, 3 people completely stuffing it up.
So do you find yourself vital with COVID having all, is this all that happened before COVID and it's been happening during as well, getting all those collaborations coming through?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Like I said, the backlog of songs, like, so Neil and I have known each other for years, and Neil lived in Perth, still does. So I would write basically the song, I guess almost like what you call a campfire version of the song. So the song is finished in the sense. I'd send it to him via email with all these notes going, you know, I can hear strings here, here's the line I think, you know, would work. And Neil's the better player of the two of us. So then he kind of records it, and then there's a back and forth between us to kind of get that going. But when our first single, My Town, came out, I was approached by a guy I used to work with at EMI to write with some up-and-coming country artists. And so that's been fantastic. So through the COVID, I've worked with about 5 or 6, you know, up-and-coming country singer-songwriters. And that's been, you know, really interesting from my perspective. Like, they're considerably younger than me. So that kind of has to change your mindset of, you know, the songs and the lyrics that you're writing. Because when I write about myself, you know, I'm coming from an older perspective, whereas these younger people, it's no good them trying to sing the same sort of thing. It just doesn't work. So, yeah, COVID, I think, if anything, it's really focused me on more songwriting and probably learning the technical side of recording as well. Because, like I said, I've always kind of left that to Neil, but it's given me a bit more time to understand how home recording works and, you know, how I can make it better.
Yeah, so September's releasing of the brand new album that's will be coming out from the English Rain, which is Echoes of You, and we'll be having some singles following on as well. So I guess we're going to have to stay tuned to 4ZZZ, and hopefully you get some gigs coming out. Sorry, that's gear, I guess. Hopefully you get some gigs coming out soon too.
Yeah, and you know, we have recorded in acoustic sessions as well, so hopefully, you know, even if we can't get out there, you know, there'll be something that people will be able to watch. But yeah, we are hoping to do some stuff in late September, so tune in to Triple Z to keep your ear to the ground.
Yeah, so we're going to play My Town, and to take us out of, can you give us a description of this song, Steve?
Yeah, when I used to work for EMI, and I was lucky enough to work on the Go-Betweens last record, and Grant and Robert were, you know, up here in Brisbane, obviously, and we got to know them both really well. So when Grant passed, it was really a difficult time for us because, you know, we'd become so friendly with him. And literally the day after I picked up the guitar, after I heard of Grant's passing, and this song came out really quickly. And it's, you know, it's a bit of a tribute to him, but it's also a bit of a, you know, and I love Brisbane kind of song. So, yeah, hopefully people will dig it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Steve, for your time on Friday Neon. All the best.
Thanks a lot, Quentin. Thanks for having me.
And here's My Town, English Rain, 4ZZZ Friday Neon.
You like the blood in your veins, not the music.